So, hello everybody, and now I'm going to try and talk about hope, or at least a work of fiction that gives me hope as part of this Project Hope that Jessie Gender and has been involved in. I was not entirely sure whether I'd be able to give something, you know, because we're meant to talk about a work of fiction that inspires hope. Now, a lot of the works of fiction I know are, well, I was trying to think of something, you know, a lot of the stories that inspire hope for me. Trouble is, most of them are historical. And yes, I know there's a lot of mythologizing in history, and you know, historiography exists and all that, but they're not they're not works of fiction. But then I realized computer games, or video games if you prefer, I'm not entirely sure of the correct nomenclature, but video games are works of fiction. And there's a video game that does bring me hope. And that game is Civilization. Is it perfect? No. Does it represent history well? No, not really. Maybe I am kind of feeding a nostalgia industry. Because yeah, it's not really that innovative either. Not anymore. And it might represent history, but it doesn't always get it right, see? See Alexander there? Yeah. To quite a large extent, the cultural development depicted in Civilization, well, it starts and ends there at the loading screen. Can create the impression that people just emerge, that nations and civilizations just exist, emerging from the primordial soup, fully formed and unchanging. And this can give a very misleading view of history. Granted, primordialism is an idea of history. You know, there are those who do believe that nations are primordial, not invented or artificial. And there is evidence of historical continuity as well as historical change. Change probably not being like it's sometimes shown in Humankind, you know, where you can be the Olmec 1 minute and then have achieved enough points to advance to another age, you can just suddenly become the Shang dynasty of China or something. Oh. I might have got those wrong, but you get my point. And no, cultures change, develop. They grow over time. Also, especially later on, they did kind of lean much more towards great person history. Now, I'm not against great person history entirely, but they don't really let you be the manager of a great many sprawling and competing issues. But truth is, that's not why Civilization gives me hope. and these. But examples for my young mind, I mean this was often later as well, but the idea of a diplomatic victory, or a space race, or culture, or something else. You know, maybe they went a bit too far into wargaming in some of the later some of the later editions, but well, this being a game that I really liked, a happy time perhaps. This Civ 2 was probably the first one I played. A game that didn't require you to conquer anyone. You could build to victory. And yeah, well, I'll come back to this picture on the front of Civ 2 later. And because, well, the thing is, I think Total Biscuit, God rest his soul, probably put it best when he talked about civilization being a fantasy. A fantasy, if I might, well, hope you don't mind if I maybe elaborate or put my own spin on that. But yeah, I hope that I can say the idea of it being a fantasy of what humanity can achieve, not what it did achieve. I mean, let's face it, I can speak with confidence as a history graduate. Yeah, a lot of human history sucked for a lot of people. And, well, probably got to give you a bit of biographical detail on my part. I'm a mismatch in a lot of ways, you know. I'm entirely white, yet according to the government of mixed ethnic background, since I tick all three of the white boxes: white British, white Irish, white other. And yeah, and that can make a difference depending on what environment I'm in. You know, too gender conforming, not gender conforming enough, depending on who I'm with. So if neurodiverse, high functioning autism, dyslexia, and I don't really fit neatly into any particular box. And in a lot of ways, that's not always a great thing in this world. But in the world of civilization as we call it, it's okay to be a mismatch. Let me, again, show you. Let us come back to this little picture. You know, sure, you're not going to get the Parthenon. You know, the Parthenon, I think that's meant to be the pyramids, the Statue of Liberty. All together. All together. But, you know, different things just happening to come together and making the world just a bit more beautiful. Full as Tenochtitlan. You know, you can be in Tenochtitlan and Zoroaster pops up and founds Catholicism as the world's first religion, which is a theological impossibility because Christianity is meant to be the fulfillment of Judaism, but that's beside the point. And you can have pagodas and all the pagodas and those which generate faith, which generate science and faith coming together and then building some beautiful wonder, Stonehenge, in the middle of the Yucatan jungle or something. Yeah, it doesn't neatly fit. Yeah, it's a mismatch. And the world in Civ, a mismatch comes together to make everything more beautiful. And, well, wouldn't it be so beautiful if our world was like that more often? And it can be. But still, onwards and upwards. I'd just like to thank you all for joining me in this little Project Hope thing. And I don't know whether it's going to be included in the playlist or not. But you know, even if it's just a little chirpy message on my channel, it was lovely having you here.